there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to bronze. I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get to glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like Kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't get mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't get mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to bronze.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
What's happening, people? What's happening to my brother? What are you saying, Gilly? You good?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a bit quiet
though. What about now? Is that better?
Not really.
Do you know what it might be? If you got headphones, put headphones on, or just leave the show completely. Even better. Guys, listen, welcome to the show. Giddy will be back in a minute. This is a new show that we're going to be doing hopefully every week, where myself and the boys, is that the best way to call them? The lads from university are all going to come on because they all support different football clubs. And we said we need to just do a show together because we go at it in the WhatsApp group. And I thought, why don't we just do shows on it? But it's taken me a while to get people to want to do it. A couple of the guys couldn't make it tonight, so it's just me and Gil for the first show. But Gil, have you got headphones on?
No.
If you've got headphones, put them on because it's better then. Maybe that might be what it is.
Right, let me just go. I can hear you clearly now. You're quite loud. As long as you can hear me.
Yeah. Leave it. I just need to change your hold on. Just need to put below your name. Liverpool. There we go. Look. Gilly Liverpool. Much better. Yes, everyone, welcome Gilly to the show. He's a massive Liverpool fan. I used to play football with Gilly back in the day, top football player as well. Hopefully, over the next coming weeks, there'll be more of the guys coming on. We've got Arsenal fans, Man United fans. We've even got an Evertonian in the crew, believe it or not. So hopefully they'll come. But big up to the Varley crew. That's what we were called at university because we stayed on Varley campus. That said, Gilly, we'll do about half an hour, 45 minutes max for the first show.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. How you doing otherwise? You're going away tomorrow, aren't you? You're looking forward to it?
I am, yeah, can't wait. Your hometown?
Going to Cyprus.
Should be good. First time.
I'm gonna come and find you when we're out there. I'm gonna show you some cool places. Just gonna say a big thank you to the people watching the show. We've got Disabled Team, Chris, Louis, Grampy, Grandpa, what a name, Perky, 3SS Sports. We've got Jimmy, we've got Tony, we've got George, Carl, Jimmy. Bring it, big boy, with a picture of me. That's nice. Big up, Benjamin and Zapaguna. So look, girls, let's get straight into it. Last week we played Brentford and we drew 2-2. You played Chelsea and was it 1-1?
1-1, yeah.
Yeah. So what did you make of Liverpool's first game then?
It wasn't too bad. You know, when you look back at the stats, the possession was much lower than we used to. Probably one of the lowest possessions we've had in a game. But it didn't really feel like that too much. I think Chelsea were just a bit passive. They still trying to find their feet. They held the ball back, but they didn't really. I don't know. I wasn't really worried at any point in that match. Apart from when they scored 2 goals and the second one was offside, I was pretty worried then. But I think first 20, 30 minutes, I think we had them. I think if Salah's goal, which was offside by such a small amount, I think if that had gone in, I think it would have been. We probably would have got a few more. Let's just say. So
yeah, you had the offside. They had the offside. What's your what's your take on Liverpool this season? Because last year wasn't a great season for you lot, same as us. But your transfer window, are you excited by it? Are you worried by it?
I think worried. I've heard hear a lot of rumours. I'm in a group with about 50 other people, Liverpool fans, so there's a lot of rumours in there. It's one of those 300 messages a day type WhatsApp group. So there's loads of noise and you've got to kind of filter that out because anything now on Twitter just blows up so quickly. And I think the fact that people are now monetizing their Twitter handles means people are full of shit, basically. So we're hearing loads of links to players. I think, yeah, the window to this point has been really shit. We were really happy when we got Szoboszlai in. I think that was a great signing. McAllister, great signing. That's the kind of quality you want.
Yeah.
And then Caicedo, going in for him was just like, wow. They've had this money down the back of the sofa and they're finally spending that money. But you can't offer what Chelsea are offering. That's the fact of the matter. Is Caicedo going to get more game time at Chelsea than he is Liverpool? Who knows? Is Lavia going to get more game time? Probably not. So it's silly. There's some silly money in the game and people are spending stupidly. I think Chelsea started it all those years ago. Man City have followed. I think Newcastle are there, although being a little bit more cautious. But it's one of those, you can't compete with them. So what do Liverpool do? What do Spurs do? I would have, a couple of years ago, I would have said Arsenal, but I don't think they're in that boat now because they're splashing the cash like anyone else.
Arsenal spent mega money.
Yeah,
Arsenal spent top money. What is the area of your team that needs to be addressed the most at Liverpool? For me, I would say the defense, but I don't know your team as well as you.
I would say, yeah. I mean, the obvious one is central midfield. We've lost like 5 central midfielders, so yeah, we've got a bit more quality in there. We've got a couple of youngsters that are coming through which can fill that void, but without a doubt, a DM. We need a proper defensive midfielder because it was Fab, and then with him not playing or injured or loss of form last season, Hendo was stepping into there, and they're both gone. You've got Milner who'd come in and do a job. He's gone as well. Ox, you couldn't really say much because he was kind of bit part. And then you've got Naby who used to come in and do a little bit of a job every now and then. So we've got no one. So McAllister did that role against Chelsea. And you could see, I mean, he did a good job, but he's not a defensively minded midfielder. He's not the kind of player who's going to track, runners, especially when you get somebody coming from deep. I think there's one, I can't remember who it was, who broke through our lines, and McAllister just didn't track him. So you need somebody who does that role full time. So that's the first thing. Secondly, without a doubt, this new system that Klopp's playing, we need a left-sided centre back, or left-sided, or a left back, because Robertson doesn't fit this system at all. And if you watch Liverpool this season, any of the games, all the pre-season games, it's always Robertson that was getting caught out, because he doesn't fit this. We kind of start off with a 4. Trent pushes into this inverted midfield role, and then we switch to a 3 at the back. And you've got Van Dijk, who can play that because he's got pace and he's got height. Konate's got pace and height. And then you've got Robertson, who's just like this little Scottish lad who just scurries around everywhere. And he can't play that system. So defence is a massive issue for us, because if Konate gets injured or Van Dijk gets injured, who's going to step in? So, yeah,
if you don't strengthen a bit more in the window for those areas, where do you think you'll finish this season?
So if we go into the season with the team as it is now, I think we'll be lucky to finish top 6.
Really?
Yeah, because we're one injury away from, being super shit. So, that one injury, whether it's midfield or defence, we're done for. Up front, I think we've got versatility up front. We've got different players that offer different options. You've got other players on the bench, such as Harvey Elliott, who can come in and do a bit of a job for you as well. Luis Diaz, he's kind of back from his injury now, and Jota's back from his injury, and Nunes is, I just think with Nunes, it's just going to take him a couple of goals before he really starts firing, because he gets the chances. And I know we disagree about this on pretty often still about Nunes, but yeah, he hasn't hit the ground.
I'll take back one comment though. I know I criticise him, but I take back one comment that I said. Richarlison is shit. Nunes is better than Richarlison, man. He is. He really is. It's just, I can't believe Richarlison, how bad he is.
But you've got to remember as well, Stal, number one, it was his first year in England. He's 22 years old. He's got to learn the language. So, I can kind of cut him a bit of slack, and he's a bit rough around the edges, as we mentioned previously.
Yeah,
so
I'll take him over Richarlison. I'll take him over.
Oh, yeah.
I've changed my mind 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a question here for you, but before I put it up, I'm also getting cussed. Look at this. I thought Gilly was one of your students still. He looks young enough to be your son. So what, am I old? That's great. Big up anyway. Zafaguna says, Gilly, what's the deal with Salah's public temper tantrum? Does he want out of Liverpool?
In short, no. But I think the temper tantrum was more around this record of him scoring 6 goals in the first 6 games since he's been at Liverpool. So it's a record, it's a personal record. And I think he got a bit pissed off because he felt he's probably feeling fit, he's raring to go. He wanted to stay on the pitch, which I understand. And you don't get that often from Salah. So, I can kind of understand it. But to be fair, the manager makes those decisions, and you can't, it's a one-off, I think. I don't think you'll see it happen again. But saying that, there's probably some underlying things in the squad where they're thinking, how are Chelsea signing all these players and we're not signing anyone? How are Arsenal signing these players and we're not signing anyone? How does City get these players and we're not signing anyone? So, again, Twitter, you'll hear a few rumours, Salah saying, well, he's open to a move to Saudi next year. And I wouldn't blame him. If we don't get Champions League this year, and I was Salah, why would you not go? Quadruple your wages and live a happy life in the sunshine. He's probably done as much as he's going to do in the Premier League and that kind of stuff. But he wants to play at the top level. Yeah, he's done it. He's won it all. Yeah,
he's won it all. Well, for us, our first game was like every pre-season game for us. We looked much better on the ball, really high possession stats, but we cannot defend. We play this really high line and we haven't got the pace to recover. And one side of the fullbacks can't defend. And the goalkeeper looks nervous. So one ball over the top or into the channels, Gilly, and we get torn wide open. And it's happened to us against every team pre-season. Even this team in Singapore called the Young Boy Sailors, which is basically a pub team, even they did it to us and scored. And they went 1-0 up doing the same tactic. So for me, I think we're in trouble in the Premier League with this tactic. But what used to get us out of it would be with score goals. But now Harry Kane's gone. You know, two defenders scored for us on the weekend. No midfielders, no attackers. So I think I'm a bit like you. If we don't strengthen our defence and maybe get in a striker, then I think we're going to be like you. We'll be lucky to get top 6. I think Spurs are in the exact same position.
What I would say still is, and I see this, I see the same thing with Liverpool. So normally we would dominate the ball, would lose the ball in a stupid position, somebody would ping it over the back and would concede from a counter-attack. And I can see the same kind of thing happening at Spurs. And to be fair, it happened to Arsenal, you know, and great attack. Arsenal absolutely, you know, dominating the ball against Forest. And they had one attack and they scored it. So I don't think anybody's immune from a good quality counter-attack. But what you've got to have is you've got to have that pressing on the ball to stop those through balls and good passes. So it's not, I don't like you say with Liverpool, it's the defence. Yes, the defence obviously that concede the goals, but actually it's the midfield that are not doing their job or the forwards that aren't doing their job when that ball gets played through. And I think that's where, so Klopp, you know, in our pre-season games, he was kind of saying, well, you know, somebody asked him about Darwin Núñez. They were like, what about Darwin Núñez? You know, is he really going to fire this year? And he was like, look, I'm not worried about him scoring goals. I'm worried about his defensive abilities, that he's able to close that and see where the build-up play is coming from to cut them out. Because Salah, Mane, and Firmino all used to press from the front, and not all the time. It wasn't like run around like headless chickens. It was there was a thought process behind there. So it was like, we're not going to press, we're not going to press, we're not going to press. Then the trap was set, and they would press, and the midfield would follow, and that just, you know, the defense then became pretty much immune unless someone's going to loft the ball over the top. And Van Dijk or whoever would just clear it up. But again, you've got to have.
You had Van Dijk. We don't really have that. We've got some. Listen, I think Romero's a good defender, and that boy we signed, Van de Ven, looks half decent. He might turn out to be really good, but our problem is they don't put the ball over the top. They put it over the top into the wide areas. So now you look at the fullback, and we just look at 6s and 7s. And plus, Gilly, you've got a world-class goalkeeper. So last resort, you've got a chance. We don't have a world-class goalkeeper. We don't have that. So I don't know. I don't know. And also, I would say your strikers are more potent than ours now. Losing Kane, we've lost 30 goals a year.
Yeah, I mean, with Kula, Son and Harry Kane, you guys always had a chance. And even Mora to a certain extent, although he just seemed to fizzle away for some reason. But you guys always had a chance of scoring goals. Now, the worry is for you guys, you don't have that potency up front. So, you know, I would, as a Spurs fan, I would be worried. But the defender that you signed, he looks quick and he's good on the ball. And he, you know, he's a good sign. That's a really good signing for you guys. Listen, I would have taken that guy. The first thing when you guys signed him, I was like asking my mates, going, well, who's this guy? Why didn't we sign him? Because he's really highly sought after. So that's a really good coup by you guys. But you just need a few more of those. But I don't agree with this going out and spending stupid amounts of money on a player, because that's the kind of thing that only really Man City can afford to do. You know, or because the truth is they have two of these.
You say that, but we spent 60 million on Richarlison. It's that's crazy. It's just mad.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that.
65 million on Ndombele, 45 million on Sanchez. Like we my issue at Spurs hasn't been that we don't spend money. I think we spend. I think now we do spend. We waste it. And then the manager ends up leaving. So the next manager comes in and they've got to inherit a group of players that doesn't work for their system. So they now need to change some players, bring in new players. But then whilst we're doing that, they then get sacked. Then another manager comes in. Now he inherits 2 different managers, players that don't fit his system. And we're just in this cycle of just hoarding players that don't work for us. And now we've got, do you know, right now we've got, I think it's 37 players, and we've got 2 weeks to get rid of 15 of them.
We've only got 20. We've got like 20. So
you got space to buy. We haven't got space to buy.
Yeah, but no one will come to us.
You think they want to come to Spurs? You think they want to come to Spurs?
Nah.
Oh, anyway, listen. I want to quickly get your thoughts on a few other. See if I can make it a bit bigger on a few of the other teams as well. Basically, the competition. That should be it, right? So on the weekend, City casual win against Burnley. Arsenal beat Nottingham Forest casual. What did you make of the Newcastle Villa game? I mean, that high line who Henry played got ripped to pieces.
He did, yeah. And that's quite surprising because they seem to have bought well, but Newcastle's not an easy place to go, and they've spent well as well. So I think a bit of a freak result. Yeah, I know. They got battered, didn't they? But I expect Villa to do better this season.
Unai Emery was almost manager of the season. Came into Villa, turned them around, same group of players, and he got them Europe.
I think it's, I think sometimes it's good to get one of those hammerings at your system quite early on. You'll see him much tighter now, for all the attacking flair. Because what happens is you sign an attacking player and everyone's like, oh, we've got him. When somebody signs a defensive player or you change your system and try to do something slightly differently, people don't pay too much attention to that. So I think Emery will get him sorted because he's a bloody good manager, that guy. He really is. He's worked absolute wonders at Villa. Yeah.
What did you make of the Man United performance?
Listen, I'm a Liverpool fan, so when you ask me about Man United, they're shit. They're shit. I thought they were going to be shit. They're always going to be shit. But yeah, they were really bad.
Maybe you should talk about Arsenal and I'll talk about Man United then.
I mean, Arsenal were... Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch all of the Arsenal game. I watched probably 60-70% of it. Watched pretty much all the Man United game. And they would just get, if Wolves could finish, they would have got a serious spanking. So I think it's just... I mean, look who did they have to bring on? Lindelof had to come on because the Butcher got himself in a bit of a spin. I mean, they don't have it for me. They don't have anybody decent up front. Although I don't know what their new striker's going to look like because obviously he's not playing yet. But Rashford just looks washed. Talking about Ballon d'Or for like 2 months just because he scored a couple of goals. Man United fans are just thick, and they're deluded, and that's the best thing about it because they think that they're actually going to do something this season. But you could look at the other side of the coin and say, well, actually, they won, even though they got pretty much battered. And that's what they did last season. So there's a habit to doing that. And then they might find a bit of form. But I don't think they've got personnel.
How lucky were they? Like that penalty decision. So I know Arsenal. Sorry, we Arsenal.
No, the Man United one.
Man United, yeah, it was Man U, sorry.
Yeah.
That penalty decision they got. Listen, so in the Spurs game, okay, we conceded a penalty, and by the letter of the law, it's a penalty, but it's one of those where you think, oh, come on, put some common sense here. It's ridiculous. It's one of those ones where you just got to take it on the chin. It was a penalty by the law, but the law's a joke. It's one of those where you're more angry about the rule as opposed to what happened.
Yeah.
The Man United one, how he never gave a penalty. He literally him in the air with his arms, and it goes to VAR, and they're like, "Nah, it's all right." And then they say football's not fixed. I mean,
that was a WWE style move. That was. I mean, what are they watching? What are these refs watching? But even the Chelsea one, I mean, it hit his hand. Now, everyone was like, "That's a penalty. That's a penalty." Everyone's asking for penalties now because they've seen them given before, so that. The bar's set very low now for penalties. And we didn't get that one. Do I think it was a penalty? Did he deliberately put his hand at the ball? I mean, his hand was like here, sort of next to his shoulder, sort of elbow height. It's not down.
Yeah.
Your hand doesn't need to be up here like this. So it's one of these ones where you're a bit like, well, come on, they're given everywhere else. So why are they not given for us? And it's that inconsistency that is the problem. They've even this stuff about
they make it up as they go along.
bookings.
I swear to God, they make it up as they go along.
Yeah, it's absolute load of bullshit. Because even McAllister, he's through on goal, he gets hacked down, he's on his arse. He puts his hand up to say you need to give that player a yellow card because the ref's too thick to do it, and he gets booked, and the other player doesn't. And it's like, what are you doing? And then the Wolves manager getting booked. It's
that
like
was ridiculous. I don't know why Ambrose got booked. Honestly, the first 30 minutes of our game v Brentford, the referee just dishing out yellows to Spurs, and then Brentford would make the same foul. It's like, yep, free kick but no card. And you're thinking, oh, hold on a minute. Is this an agenda? But I don't know. The league table, look, it doesn't mean much at the moment. It's only one game. I think after 10 games, you can begin to judge a bit. But there's games coming up this weekend. Let's have a quick preview of them. Let's have a quick look. Anyone that catches. What would you expect to beat Bournemouth at Anfield? You should be beating them, right?
Yeah, we should be. It's just one of those. You need to get that first. There's always pressure at Anfield anyway, but you need to get that first home game won. Simple as that. So, we've got to just be patient. We've got the firepower there. Don't get caught on the counter. Just go back to basics, But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the game. I think it'll be a good one. The first home game's always really good. I'll be watching it from a bar in Cyprus somewhere, no doubt. But yeah, it's there's problems with the stadium.
There's loads of Cypriot Liverpool fans. There's thousands of Cypriot Liverpool fans, man. It's crazy. They love Liverpool. Liverpool, Man United, and Arsenal are the three most popular clubs in Cyprus.
So at least a third of them have got good taste. Yeah. No, it's. But I don't know if you know this, but the contractor for Anfield. I don't know if you know this though, but the contractor who's doing the work on Anfield, the Anfield Road stand filed for administration today. So there's videos of all the contractors just walking out of Anfield. So we were supposed to be finished for this first game. They're looking sort of mid to end of October, and now the company's gone into administration. So it's probably going to be, who knows when they'll get that stand fully open. So
the people building your new stand are going bankrupt.
Yeah.
So they've stopped building mid-build.
Yeah. They're all walking off site earlier on today. It's crazy. But
that's such a Levy. That's a Daniel Levy move.
Well, exactly. You know what? We're not that much different from you, still. To be honest, we've got tight ass owners. We spend less than you guys. The differential.
You win trophies, but still, man.
But the
trophies. We win nothing. Ever.
Yeah, but it's changed. Still, it's changed massively. So if you go back 2 years, then I would say, yeah, absolutely, Liverpool is a better run club than Spurs. No argument about it. Over the last 2 years, we've had Martin Edwards leave. We've had so many backroom team people leave. All these statisticians that were coming up with all the data about this place.
Where did you finish last season?
5th.
We finished 8th. Not even in Europe.
Yeah, but you had change of manager as well, so that's that throws a massive.
Do you know what it is, Gilly? Do you know what it is? You're looking at it from your Liverpool perspective, right? By your standards, it's not good. By your standards, but we're still worse than you when your standards drop. That's how crappy it's been at Spurs, man. Even when you drop off, we're still below you. It's awful. It's hard supporting this club.
The thing is that I'm not talking about performances on the pitch here. I'm talking about behind the scenes and off the pitch. We've basically lost.
We're good. Off the pitch,
we've lost.
I admit that. Yeah, we're good.
We've lost though every edge that we had in terms of signing players. So these guys used to go and find all these dynamite players for hardly any money. They've all left. Some have gone to Newcastle. Some have gone abroad. We've got nobody left. Even this director of football that's come in now, he's literally here for this summer. And what's he done? He's ballsed up a Caicedo deal. He's balled up Lavia by pissing him off by saying we're signing someone else. Everybody he's gone for has basically said no to him. The guy, all he had to do was meet the fee that would have got him out for the contract. That's all he had to do. So he didn't have to get into a bidding war. He didn't have to bid anything. It literally said £50 million, bid it, you'll get the player. And he still managed to balls that up. So we've got some random guy that Klopp knew from back in Germany, and he's just called his mate over. And Klopp is actually to blame for a lot of this. So
wow.
Yeah, because it's he's not agreed with a lot of the players that they wanted to sign originally. And so his view on players we should sign and the data guy's view. So they've all left because they'll get paid so much more money at Newcastle and other clubs. So
David P's bantering you. Chelsea stole your contract. Chelsea stole your contractors to rebuild Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think you'll beat Bournemouth regardless, no matter. Well, I tell you what, Wolves Brighton now looks like a juicy game because Wolves looked pretty good the other night. I mean, if they play like that against Brighton, that's going to be a cracking game of football. Yeah,
if they can get it in the back of the net, I'll tell you what, Wolves would be a pretty good side because they look really. They've got three really good midfielders. You know, the Gomez, Nunes. You know, both look really good. So
I think Ambrose is a good manager. You know, he did really well at Bournemouth last year.
Yeah,
I thought he'd done really well. That's going to be a great game of football. Then you've got London Derby, Fulham, Brentford, Tottenham, Man United. I mean, I tell you what, Gilly. I tell you what, they always seem to do something jammy against us this lot. I tell you what I think is going to happen in this game, right? This is my honest prediction. I reckon we're going to play them off the park. It's going to be like Man United Wolves, but this time Tottenham will be Wolves. We're going to absolutely take it to them. First home game, everyone will be behind the crowd, and the crowd will be behind the team. We're gonna play really, really good football, but we're not going to finish our dinner, and they're going to get in behind, but they will take their chances, and we will lose this game, but we won't deserve to lose it. That's what I think will happen. They'll beat us, but they won't deserve it. But I
wouldn't disagree with that prediction, to be honest. Though I think you'll be the better team on the day, but I think somehow they'll get the points like they have been doing. But this will happen to Man United quite a few times, and then they'll get absolutely slapped by somebody. 7-0. But, you know, it's there for the happening because once they haven't got that confidence in the team. You know, once those heads drop at Man United, because they know they're playing shit. You know, if they went back to that changing room, they'll give themselves a pat on the back for getting 3 points, but actually they'll know that they played shit. And it's just, you know, they play a decent side. You know, Brighton, I don't know what they'll be like this season, but Brighton from last season, or, you know, even Arsenal, or, you know, Spurs on their day, anybody can do it to them. You know, even absolutely anyone, even Villa on their day could probably batter them. But it will happen, and they will lose some games, and that'll knock the confidence. So yeah, maybe they'll sneak it, but maybe 2-2, I think would be a good result for both. I think.
I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, a draw is possible. It's just it kind of probably end up will being a draw. Actually, the more I think about it, but I'm worried about us with that ball over the top. Rashford's got pace. Sancho's got pace, and up front, Richarlison. Honestly, I've never known a strike. You know, when you think of good strikers, you think of Class A. You think of they have names like the Goat or CR7. What was the name they gave Batistuta? Batigo. All these like amazing names. Yeah. Our striker, Gilly, is called the Pigeon.
Okay. Well. Yeah.
Would you imagine the back of your shirt? Go, Class A, Batigo. Would you put Pigeon on the back of your shirt?
I don't even know what that's in reference to. I don't even know what you'd associate with a pigeon.
He does this dance like that when he scores. It's like and he does the noise. Brr, brr. So you see hashtag PRU. It's ridiculous.
I've only seen him.
It's a joke.
I've only seen him do it once.
Because he's only scored once.
There you go.
At your ground.
Yeah. Which was this? Was that the one that was disallowed? Oh no, that was allowed. That one, wasn't it? And then we scored straight after.
The one where you went and scored the winner. Yeah, that was it. Do you know what? The most Spursiest freaking. Hey, look, there you go.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about Rashford because he just can't shoot. I know it's a weird thing to say, but all he does is, if you imagine the goals there, he hits it as hard as he can, and he hopes for a swerve on the ball. And as for Sancho, he can't run in a straight line, so I wouldn't be too worried about it.
Against us. Sancho scored against us last season at our ground. Actually, he scored against us.
It's quite surprising.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. Will Stewart, who's a regular, well, he's one of the people who does the show with us, one of the hosts. He's into his stats and data analytics, and he put a comment up here saying, "See, Stel, I told you Liverpool's recruitment ain't the same. That's how he knew they'd fall off last season." He follows a lot of the data analytics and recruitments of clubs, so he actually called it last season. He said you lot would fall off because of it. And he got it right. He actually called it. He's a Spurs fan. But...
No, 100% bang on. He's absolutely right. A lot of people called it last season. They actually called it. We kind of said it. I think January time on the season we were on for the quadruple. Everyone was like, "It's going to get really, really messy." Somehow we've managed to get to the last games of the season with still a chance, but yeah,
I think
we're in big trouble.
I think it's because you got Klopp, man. Klopp. I know you guys are a bit. I know you and Big Rish are a bit torn with Klopp, but I still think he's a top manager. I think he's a really good manager.
I don't disagree with him being a top manager. I think the problem is that, like every manager, he wants that ultimate control. And you've got these people who specialize in data and looking at players, and this is who you should bring in. Because rumor has it that he didn't want to sign Salah and he didn't want to sign Mane. They weren't his choice players. These were the people behind the scenes who wanted to sign these players. And it happened a few times. And I think Klopp just got sick of it. And you got to remember, we won everything with this team behind us. They recommended Mane, they recommended Salah, they recommended all these good players. Alisson, I think, was one of theirs as well. So that's what brought us success. Now Klopp suddenly decided that he wants to have the say on all the players. And I think that's where there's a bit of division in the club. All the backroom analysts have left. So it's literally just him now. So, people on Twitter seem to know more than our bloody club. Somebody mentioned it on Twitter and suddenly we're linked to them, or we've done an inquiry. It's the wrong way around. Yeah, it's crazy.
All these Twitter journalists. Let's have a quick look at the other games. Man City, Newcastle. I mean, I don't know about City. I'm not sure. De Bruyne being injured now. They've got no Gundogan. They've got no Riyad Mahrez. I don't know. I think there's a chance Newcastle might get something.
I think this is probably the first real test for Newcastle. I think last season they kind of under the radar a little bit, faded off. They could have lost that Champions League place because they had that good run, and then they were a little bit iffy. So, yeah, good test for Newcastle. I think they've just, they've got to keep Haaland quiet, which he kind of does himself for a lot of the game, but it's just that split second when you switch off, he's there to bury those chances. What was the stat? He hasn't scored for 6 games until opening weekend. And then, slightest sniff and he's all over it. So they've got to nail him down, stay tight defensively, and I think they can do some damage on the counter.
Do you know what? I think Newcastle are going to win it. I think Newcastle beat them. I said this season, we did predictions on our show before the season started, and I said I think Arsenal might win the league this year because Man City winning the treble. I don't know how you keep your motivation that high to push as intensively to win another treble back to back. I don't know any team that's done 2 doubles back to back or a treble then a double. So I think there's going to be a little drop off from City. And Gundogan and Mahrez came up with a lot of main goals for them, and that's gone. So I mean, look, the transfer window's not over yet. Kyle Walker apparently might be going to the Saudi League. So no, Bayern Munich, is it? Bayern Munich, yeah. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think City are weaker. I think Arsenal have strengthened. I think Arsenal can do it this year. I do.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, but I don't think Arsenal will do it. I think it's going to be a much tighter race this time round. I think Arsenal will be up there. They've got to avoid some injuries in that defence because Timber's obviously already injured. Can Nketiah fill that role throughout the whole season? I don't know. I mean, they've got plenty of attacking talent, but it's just about that finishing. So
who do you think is going to win it? Who do you think is going to win the league, Gilly?
I think it'll be City again. I think it'll be much tighter this season. Yeah, I do. I just think that experience and it's gonna take a really, really good run. I don't think the points total will be as high as it has been for the past few seasons. I think more teams are capable of taking points off Man City. So yeah, they're not as strong as they were last season. I'd agree with that. So yeah, Newcastle to win. I think it could happen.
I'm going to say Newcastle win. Aston Villa, Everton. I think Villa will batter Everton. I think they're going to bounce back from that loss against Newcastle, and Everton, they've just picked up from where they were last year. They're just all over the shop again.
Yeah, have to agree. I didn't see much of the Everton game, to be honest, but yeah, they're pretty shit. Yeah, and they haven't bought anyone, so
no, they're asking for trouble, Everton.
Yeah.
West Ham, Chelsea. Now, in fact, what was the West Ham score last week? What was the West Ham score last week? I've got it here. Hold on. So West Ham drew 1-1 away to Bournemouth. Okay. So Chelsea look quite good. Reece James is injured now. He's out. Another hamstring injury. I think Chelsea will probably West Ham at home though. This could. I think Chelsea will win it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they drew.
Yeah, I think away win or draw. If you had to put money on it, I'd probably go away win just slightly. But yeah, West Ham haven't really bought anyone either, but they've got a pretty solid team. I know Rice has left, but I think sometimes that brings teams together. Bowen's firing. He's a really good player. The stats on Bowen are really good. So yeah, they've got a chance. They've got a chance, I think. It'd be good to see Chelsea tested a little bit more and pushed. Because I just think Chelsea, they just make these snap decisions. So I'd like to see. Yeah, I know you love Poch, but I just think he's gonna. I don't know. I just think something's gonna happen at Chelsea. A couple of bad runs, and they'll start getting itchy feet, and then blow another 500 million quid or something.
CQ, I saw news today that Reece James has got a hamstring injury. I'm sure he's got his. That's what I read today. If I'm wrong, then fair play. That's what I read.
I saw that as well, actually. I can't remember where I saw it though, so I don't know how true that is. But yeah, apparently it's on screen.
Yeah, look, Zapaguna says it as well. James is out for a few months. He is out. Last one is Crystal Palace Arsenal London derby. Crystal Palace, never an easy place to go to. Everyone struggles at Palace. Could Arsenal drop points here? Or do you think it'll be a professional performance and they'll win?
I see a draw, if I'm honest.
Really?
I do. Yeah, because I don't know what it is. Roy Hodgson's one of those managers. He can piss people off.
They beat Sheffield United 1-0. They've got no Zaha no more though.
No. At least they signed a new contract though, didn't he? He's not going Chelsea anymore.
Yeah, he's starting a new contract. Yeah, out of nowhere.
Which is good for them. So that's really good. So yeah, I think they'll make it tough for Arsenal, I think. So yeah, not an easy place to go. I think maybe a draw. Not sure why. I just feel like a draw is probably fair, isn't it?
I think Arsenal win. I think they'll find a way. I think they'll win 3-1. Actually, I think they'll beat them 3-1.
Yeah, I can't say I've watched Crystal Palace this season, so I've got no idea. I need to watch a few teams over a few games just to get a feel for how they're playing at the moment. I've only seen a few teams play so far. Yeah.
Do you know what, Gills? Let's wrap it up. It's our first week doing Best of the Prem. Next week we should have at least 4 of us. But it depends whether or not people are going. Oh no, you're away, aren't you? I'm away. In fact, we're not on next week. We're both away.
We can do it live from Cyprus,
mate. If we can do it live from Cyprus, we will. But we'll probably be at some restaurant drinking, so I doubt it. But we'll be back in 2 or 3 weeks, and it'll be every week, and we'll have a full uni guys doing it. But look, it's good to get the show up and running. Gilly, thanks for coming on.
No worries. Good to be on with you, Stelios.
Thank you, man. Likewise. All right, guys, listen, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you like and subscribe. Mari is going live at 9:45 tonight, UK time. The North London is our show. 2 Arsenal fans, 2 Spurs fans. Check that out in exactly 1 hour's time. Otherwise, people, take care. Have a good one. Gilly, I'll chat to you backstage quickly once we're done.
No worries. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you. We're out of here. Back.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.